28 minutes to the top of the hour. Muranga Road as well as State House Road is our focus this Monday morning when it comes to the traffic flow. Nothing really much has been happening there, particularly when it comes to a lot of these roadworks that we have been seeing, specifically here in the city center. But there are those key, very instrumental slip roads, and this is where we are checking on them today. Try to see and track the traffic flow on this particular stretches, how they are doing, also knowing fully well that oftentimes they really serve as good alternative routes, especially for those that are living areas of Wayakiwe, as well as sections of Uhuru Highway when it comes to State House Road, and Thika Super Highway when it comes to Muranga Road. So let's just quickly look at how State House is looking like this morning. This is as you leave the University roundabouts, coming all the way from sections along Wayakiwe as you head over to the city center. In fact, slightly just past the roundabout as you enjoy into Kenyatta Avenue, in between these two particular roundabouts, heavy kind of traffic being spotted there, not moving at all on major sections, just at a standstill. But as you branch off to that road, which is our focus this morning, that is State House Road, at least on that particular section, moving at a swift pace, barely any kind of heavy traffic, just a bit of a snarl up here and there on some sections. As you leave areas of Valley Road, leaving areas of Agwix Codex, some sections of Mbagathi Way, as you come to the city center, particularly on that lane, that is just where we're spotting a bit of traffic, but altogether manageable kind of traffic. And that has also been well characterized by that orange color, which is a clear indicator of that. As you leave the areas around sections of Kenyatta Avenue, heading all the way to areas around Dennis Prit there, areas around Valley Road as well, all through that entire lane. In fact, on that particular stretch, no traffic at all, moving at a swift pace, and in fact, nothing is changing there. So just as how it was when we began looking at that traffic flow, that is how it is even up till now. So clearly, if you are leaving those areas that I'm just mentioning, of course, sections of Valley Road, could be areas around Ngong Road as well, Mbagathi Way, coming to the city center, this could be one of those routes that you could use this morning. And again, this is because along Uhuru Highway, just like we've seen there, particularly as you leave areas of Haile Selassie as well as Kenyatta Avenue right this morning, heavy kind of traffic. In fact, this is just changing right now to, you know, really, really heavy kind of traffic, not moving at all, just at a standstill. This has changed this very, very second. Again, this is why you keep saying all the time that traffic changes every single minute. So again, this is why you could use State House Road as one of your alternative routes, because look at how Kenyatta Avenue is looking like, particularly for those that are coming from areas around Ngong Road as well as Valley Road. So away from there, on the other side of Kenyatta Avenue, still heavy kind of traffic there as you head over to sections or areas along Nyerere. Again, one of those very good alternative routes, but looks like this morning cannot really serve as an alternative route, because right now, just as you leave the area around All Saints, coming through this particular section, all through the entire side, actually on both lanes of Nyerere Road, this is as you leave the All Saints Cathedral, leaving areas of Kenyatta Avenue, as well as also leaving areas of Westlands, Parklands, Wayakiwe, as well as the University Way roundabout. That's just basically what I mean when I say on both lanes of this particular stretch, heavy kind of traffic there. But again, still, you can stick to State House Road as one of your alternative routes if you're coming from those areas. And this is particularly why we are looking at this stretch this morning when it comes to matters traffic. That is how it is looking like at exactly 36 minutes past 7 a.m. along State House Road, as well as sections of Nyerere and also Kenyatta Avenue.
All right, welcome back, and now let's get to the political segment of this show. Eye on Politics today, Monday, being the 28th of March 2022. Joined by in studio one lady, Wanjiru Mathai, who is an advocate of the High Court. Oh, there you have her. All right, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. She's
also vying for Kiambu parliamentary seat in Kiambu County. How is the race so far?
I mean, so far we have not yet gone into the depths of campaigning because we're grappling with the issues of nomination.
Yes.
And for a party such as ours, we do not expect that we will have a very rigorous nomination process all around, because in most of these seats, you will find that you only have one candidate.
Yes.
So the biggest hurdle and the biggest challenge will be once the nomination process has been finalized, and now the aspirants know who are your competitors, who will go all the way to the ballot come August 9. So at the moment, we're just doing some soft, outreach to popularize ourselves as candidates, but we have not really gone into the depths of campaigning. Remember also that the IEBC has set a specific timeline when election campaigns need to begin. So we're just popularizing ourselves as we prepare for the real campaigns to commence after the nomination process.
We'll get into the details later on. From the legal point of view, we have the electoral law, which is enacted for the party nominations and party hopping, which is also bring a lot of heat in the political arena. But anyway, we look at that as well. We have got Hamisi Mboga joining me via Zoom all the way from Mombasa, and Tabitha Ogutu from Siaya County. Hamisi, how is it down there? Hot, cold? With us in Mombasa, tuko tu sawa.
Very hot, very hot. Temperatures are rising every day. I don't know whether it's political temperatures or the environment.
No, you are the one raising the temperature in Mombasa, Hamisi.
Yes, it's very hot.
Okay.
Both politically and also environmentally.
Yes. You'll take us more the political side. Environment to achieve the experts. But then, Tabitha, Siaya must be cool and raining this time around. Good morning, Tabitha.
Good morning, Victor. How are you today?
Fantastic, fantastic. Siaya uchi onade?
Siaya chumabere, it's rainy. We after this, I'm going to the farm to, we are planting to plant some maize seeds. Yes, it's a good season for us. Yes,
absolutely. All right. So today we have gender parity. All right, 2-2, ladies and gentlemen. So I have got Tabitha all the way from here, Hamisi Mboga from Mombasa, and I have got Mathai here from Kiambu County, vying for the Kiambu parliamentary seat. Okay, so a lot happened over the weekend, and it's now time for...
We all had, and it's almost on all the front pages of our local dailies here, the big revelation from the president on Saturday. And now it's on the front page of the Daily Nation. Storm over Uhuru impeachment claims. We have got star here. DP Ruto to Uhuru, do not tell lies about me. etc. Let me start with you, Wanjiru, because now perhaps this is bringing a lot of legal aspect when you talk of impeachment of a president.
Correct.
Your take on that?
The effort to impeach a president is not very alien, even in advanced democracies such as America, where we have witnessed at least, I think, 3 presidents who have almost been sent out through an impeachment process. And I think that the only thing that saved them was that they were not convicted in the House of Senate. We have Bill Clinton, I think, who was almost impeached on grounds of, I think it was perjury. Donald Trump, I think, was almost impeached twice.
Yes, but he survived.
But he survived, and I think the person who actually propagated the impeachment process was the Speaker of the House of Representatives. This is not a foreign concept, really. We have seen it happening even in advanced democracies. And then bringing it back closer to our local politics. I think so far we have witnessed 2 governors who have been impeached.
One Sonko.
Mbuvi, and one Ferdinand Oititu from my very own background. I think that the question that should come into the minds of Kenyans is not so much whether the deputy president made attempts to impeach the president. It ought to be whether the president has committed any acts or omissions that would warrant an impeachment process to be commenced against him.
Yes.
You will recall that when the BBI rulings were read in both the High Court and the Court of Appeal, both courts found that the president had actually violated some, I think it was Article 73 or something of that nature of the Constitution, which is one of the grounds in which a person can actually commence an impeachment process against the president. And it would be interesting to note what the Supreme Court actually rules in that regard.
Because the matter is still active in the Supreme Court, right?
Yes, it's still active in the Supreme Court. So, you know, regardless of whether the deputy president has gone on record to deny the allegations, I think that Kenyans need to be comfortable with impeachment, really, because it really acts like a check and balance towards the executive. So let the Kenyans be comfortable with this impeachment process. And the questions that the Kenyans should be asking is, has the president made any committed any acts or omissions that would warrant an impeachment process to be commenced against him? Remember also that for that, the process for impeachment is very rigorous. President has to go through the National Assembly, and even still, even if he has been impeached, he still has to go through Senate. So this is not a process that is taken lightly. So we can expect, we're still waiting to see what the Supreme Court will rule.
Okay, Hamisi, you know, at this particular point, let me bring you in. So let's just say that it's a season of revelations, right?
Yes.
Hamisi, if you can hear me, is this a season that you've been waiting for?
Yes, this is the really season that we were waiting for, and it is here, like the rain, like the heat. And and to add on to what my colleague has said, the process of impeachment is not that easy. And it has been made difficult so that you don't impeach somebody every day. You can imagine, let's look at Kiambu. Brother Mboga survived about 2 or 3 times because the process is rigorous. It has to be given evidence. You have to have to go to the law. You have to. So any process, you can think about impeachment right now, and the people maybe have impeached because now we hear from one side, from the president said this, and also from the deputy president, I didn't do this. For now, I think to me it's not relevant, that process. The process is what happens next, because right now we're using that one as a background. Oh, there was a probability of impeachment. Oh, so what happened? So we need to know the details, but actually we're going into the nitty-gritty of the election 2022. Now, what happens? That will add fuel into the process of electioneering. That will give credit when the president goes down to say, I'm voting for so-and-so because this other one was doing so-and-so. And also it will also allow the deputy president to say, oh, now they are really pushing me to the wall. I didn't do all this. So the Kenyan person will have something to think about. Let's sift between the facts and the fiction. Let's also look at the possibility of a political message, and also let's look at what will be best for Kenya. So this is going to be very hot, actually. It's a platform for campaign. So-and-so wanted to remove our person, so it's not the right one for this. So-and-so is, these people are saying so-and-so did this, but I think our son is clear. You can see all those kind of things. So yes, this is the time. This is the time.
Okay. Tabitha, when you look at the front pages of our local dailies here, and the story is now on the 2 big boys, so to speak. So who would you believe? The president, his deputy?
Okay, Victor, I think that, first of all, the president understands the magnitude with which saying about something like that brings, and therefore we cannot dismiss him entirely as somebody who is selling a political thing or issue so that some people can view him in favor of his deputy.
Yes.
It will be very petty. So I think as a president, if you look at his track record, he's not been seen as a person who comes out and tries to maliciously say things to paint others in bad picture. So I would want to believe that he has records and evidences to back this. Because if at all the deputy president had tried to impeach him or tried to have maybe meetings in that regard, then that amounts to treasonry. And treasonry, according to the Constitution, is a very big offense. So what we want to see moving forward, and I know when he was saying these words, uttering these words, the president was also, he also knew very well that he'll have to be responsible in answering the whole public about it. Something about this, Victor, is the president has always been painted badly by the deputy president, that he sidelined him in favor of the opposition. And even, I remember yesterday when he was speaking, the deputy president categorically was stating that the president violated the Constitution because he allowed the opposition into government. This is not something that happens every day in our Kenyan democracy or even African democracy, even in the world. Just a few instances we have seen the opposition being part of the government. But why is Kenya such a particular example? There must be something behind it. So we do not literally know if this is the case, because you say you only get it till proven, right? So what we want to see basically is now the president literally coming out with the evidences. We want because if it's an attempt of a coup or an impeachment, then there has to be proof behind it. So I will not sit down here today and literally dismiss this as a political selling boat, but at the same time, maybe the timing is what people will consider to be more political, because it's a political season. The country is heating up, as my colleagues have said. But then it might be just a time that he saw it wise for him to now spill the beans, because you've been asking. I remember during the Sagana 3 meeting, Victor, many people were waiting to hear the reasons why the president and his deputy are falling apart. And one time, David Murathe, addressing the mainstream media in one of the leading national televisions, he stated that some of the reasons that have led to the drift between the president and his deputy are more personal, and they were touching on life than what we literally know. So what we want to see now is evidence. That is the only way we can sit down here and judge this as either true or false, but we cannot dismiss it entirely as fallacy. Yes,
absolutely. You know, it's the way you put it. It's a heavy allegation, and the fact that it comes from the president. We cannot just rub it under the carpet and say it's a political season. Anything said is now political. All right.
Yeah. Yes, Victor, we cannot entirely say that it's a political season, and therefore, what he maybe was doing is even in politics, we always sit down here on this TV and say that in politics also you honestly have to keep your best card for the best time, eh?
Yes.
So it is the truth, because he's the one who knows the truth. And I'm very sure he cannot just make an allegation and empty ground. The international community will be looking at this and all that. He has an image to keep as a very reputable president that we have had. So what literally he was waiting for maybe was this is the particular time he thought.
It is the timing. It is the timing.
Yeah. Spill the beans. So yeah. It doesn't mean that now, because the political time is really sending a false statement or whatever.
Let me bring in Wanjiru here. Wanjiru, I'm still on the issue of timing, because it's political, and we've always been waiting to hear nini ilifanyika between the president and his deputy. For all these years, people would say, honestly, at some point the bromance, the famous red shirt, the red tie and the white shirt, my brother, all happened all overnight, and they stopped being brothers and friends. Are we now starting to get the revelations?
The timing issue is actually also very suspect.
Yes.
Why now? Because if you recollect, the president and the deputy president seemed to have parted ways sometime in, I think that was around March 2018.
2018.
That's a long time ago.
That's like we are in March.
Yes. And the question as to why these two principles drifted apart has always come up. So to say that, this coming from the president is not something that, we should take lightly or not. I mean, we need to also put the president to task to tell us why did he take this long to tell us that this is what caused them to drift.
Yes.
And this is not, it's not even an issue that would particularly cause some level of, upset in society. So why would he delay bringing this up? The other thing I have an issue with is how can he demonstrate that the deputy president actually tried to impeach him?
Perhaps the top secret.
Let him reveal everything. Let him bring everything to the table so that the people can weigh the facts and the evidence.
Yes.
Even in a court of law, when you make allegations, you must always back it up with evidence. So he cannot just make certain allegations without tabling the evidence to the public for public scrutiny, because now the deputy president's character is at stake.
Yes.
In the eyes of the public.
And we all know the weight of the process of impeachment and that allegation coming from the head of state that, my deputy tried to impeach me. No wonder the president came out yesterday openly, and the counterattack on the president's sentiments were quite heavy.
And at what point did the deputy president, attempt to impeach him? Because the impeachment process needs to be commenced by in the National Assembly. So how was this, how he needs to, this is why I'm saying he needs to demonstrate how this happened. Sometime around March 2018, which warranted his decision to now shake hands with the Right Honorable Raila Odinga.
Yes. You know what, Hamisi, one interesting thing is we've talked about timing, and when you hear the president saying that his deputy tried to impeach him, let me just quote what Mathai MP Peter Kimari said. He was part of the delegation at State House and said that the president told them Uhuru worked behind his back and approached ODM boss Raila Odinga so that they could agree on the impeachment scheme. Now, Uhuru told the elders that Ruto wanted Raila arrested and prosecuted after he was sworn in as the people's president in January 2018. Ruto said that Uhuru told the delegation was encouraging opposition protests in 2017. What's the take on that, Hamisi?
My view is, let me go back to the situation where I said it's hot and it's becoming hotter. My view is that this thing started, the struggle between the two started, as everybody says, in 2018. That's what we know, that's what we have observed. But you see, the president has the whole country in his hands. The president has intelligence that we don't have. The president has to make a decision that will not affect all the Kenyans. I'm looking at it technically from a neutral point of view. If he had initiated the allegations in 2018, what would happen to us, to the country, and everything else? But if you observe, why did he bring in the opposition into the fold so that you remember somebody said, I brought him to help me because the situation was getting bad. So we have a lot of information that we don't have, which illustrates that actually there was something wrong. And also, if the impeachment starts for the president starts from the parliament, maybe that is where it was going to start. And maybe that is where the president said, oh, let me start, crop it down immediately from there. That's why he brought in the opposition with numbers, and you could see the debate. Those of us who have been here watching parliament and deliberations, there has been a lot of debate. There have been a lot of opposition inside the government. So these are indications, and maybe the timing, we're coming to that concept of timing and strategy, timing of revelation and the strategy of saying, if I say it now, it's better than if I said it 2 years earlier. You can see all the discussions that were pro-government or pro-the president were opposed by part of the government. So this, in a political scenario, forget about legal for now, political scenario, there were strategies of sabotaging what the president would say. So these games were there, and maybe we're coming to the fore. It's safer now, because whatever decisions, you cannot start the proceedings for impeachment.
Yes.
Or you cannot start the legal proceedings for the deputy president. We are hearing so that we can make a decision for the election, so that coming October, November, in the new dispensation, then we shall be clear what happened here. History is important. It will carry on our knowledge in the future of politics. So this is interesting. Yes. The president has information, he has the security, he has intelligence, he has the people underground. Maybe he knows what we don't know. The deputy president has intelligence, has security, has information which we don't know. So anyway, let's hear more. In fact, in the next coming months, we may hear more.
We are likely to see more. Tabitha, one interesting bit is that we would want to know what really happened. So at this particular point, we can just have a wild guess how the separation and the divorce between the two quote-unquote one-time brothers was. The extent of the damage.
Yes, Victor, I guess you are directing that question to me?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So Victor, as I said earlier, we cannot entirely dismiss these claims, knowing that the president understands the magnitude that this will bring. So another thing I would also want to say that for him to come out and say something like that, there must be evidences to back him, because also we want to know.
Exactly, that's what Wanjiru is also talking about here.
Yes, there must be. So we can't also sit here and say that there are no evidence. And I'm very sure at the appropriate time, when it's needed, and because the public also right now wants the evidences, the president will come out and give us the evidences. He just started a conversation around the issue on why the sudden fallout with him and his deputy president. I do not know why the deputy president also had to come out very early and defend himself yesterday, and he was bringing it in a very interesting way, that now because he refused to be the government project, now the government, the president is trying to pin him down by painting him in a bad picture. I do not literally understand the deputy president at times, because Victor, from where we are sitting the other week when we were discussing this, and we were saying, why is he telling the president to step aside and allow him to face the whole right honorable Odinga head on? Why does he have a problem? And now he had a problem because the president never backed him. And now he has a problem because now he's also saying that he wanted to be a state project, and the state refused to back him up. So literally, what he needed to also have called the president is dared him to give us evidence. That is not something we had him say yesterday. And literally, if at all, I had one of our panelists saying that why right now? And then I will also ask, why is it not right now? What is the problem with this particular timing? It's a politics. Kenya is a political country.
So timing to you, timing is not an issue.
It's not an issue here. What we want is evidence. If it exists, then the so-called Treasury Act is something that was tried. If it's going to be proved, I said one is guilty till proven to be so. So, yes. So as Hamisi has said, sometimes we do not have to read a lot of legal issues into things, but we have to look at it as at a political angle. At the end of the day, our president is a politician, apart from being an incredible leader, and therefore, this is what he will have termed as a politically correct timing to bring this forth. So what we need to see is evidence. And once the evidence is out, which I believe, I want to believe that the president has evidence. The president cannot just come out and say something like that without anything to back it up.
But
and
Tabitha,
then we have also, yeah.
We might wait a little longer before we see or get to see the evidence.
Yes.
All these are politicians, as you correctly put it, but we might not get the evidence. Remember, the president has 24-hour intelligence. All right, the briefing is always there with him at his fingertips. Anytime at the touch of that button, you get the intelligence. He had all the MPs in Parliament, the Jubilee, and now Odium Boss Raila Odinga. But then, Tabitha, Wanjiru, how is this damaging to the DP politically? Such an allegation, and the president called the Kikuyu elders in State House, 3,000 delegates, and he spilled the beans on his deputy.
The only way I see it as damaging to the DP's candidature is that people on the ground are suffering. There's real issues that are affecting people economically and otherwise. And this could turn out as a narrative that it is in fact the deputy president's attempt to impeach the president to forestall any development from happening.
Yes.
So any allegations that a party was actually primarily involved in trying to forestall any development from happening is actually a very grievous allegation.
It is.
And because the deputy is trying to also sell his agenda as a person who wants to bring progressive change, especially to those people who are at the lower cadre of the economy. So that is how I see it affecting the deputy president's candidature, that he tried to sabotage the development of this country by trying to impeach the president and the agenda that the president had set about for development. Yes.
I'll bring it back to you, Tabitha. In terms of the damages, the DP must be so much aware of the extent that this actually would bring to his political career. Okay, all right. Tabitha has disappeared. Sawa. So on that note, let's take a break. But when we come back, I'll still get back. Tabitha, allow me to take a break. You can also grab a cup of coffee. In here, you can do porridge briefly. For us in studio, we'll take a break. We'll be right back with more.